Welcome to Africa Heritage Hub, the home of Africa's timeless history, heroes, and heritage. Step into the untold history of Africa, the stories before independence, the struggles that shaped nations, and the visionaries who dreamed of freedom. At Africa Heritage Hub, we uncover the lives of Africa's pioneers, explore rich cultures, and revive the powerful movements that build the continent's future. Every episode brings to light the forgotten chapters, celebrates true African heroes, and honors the spirit of resilience and hope that lives on today. History remembered, heritage celebrated, legacy preserved. New episodes every week. Subscribe and journey with us through Africa's timeless story. In this episode of Africa Heritage Hub, we step into the powerful legacy of Kwame Nkurumah, Ghana's first president and the fearless Pan-Africanist who ignited the flame of independence across the continent. From humble beginnings in Koful to leading Ghana to freedom in 1957, Nkurumah's journey is one of vision, sacrifice, and unshakable belief in Africa's destiny. In this episode, we dive into his early life and global education, his achievements, mistakes, and lasting legacy. Whether you are a student of history or a lover of African empowerment, this story will inspire you to think bigger about Africa's future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful African stories every week. Kwame Nkurumah was born on 21st September 1909 in a small town in the western region of what was then the British colony of the Gold Coast, now Ghana. He came from a modest background, raised by his mother, and educated in Catholic schools. Nkurumah showed academic promise early and trained as a teacher at the Achimota School in Accra. His intellectual journey took a significant turn when he traveled to the United States in 1935. He studied at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania and later at the University of Pennsylvania, earning degrees in economics, sociology, and theology. During his time in the US, he was heavily influenced by black intellectuals such as Marcus Garvey and the principles of Pan-Africanism. The idea that Africans across the globe should unite to end colonialism and build a strong united continent. He later moved to London to continue his studies, where he became actively involved in African politics, connecting with future African leaders and forming political ideas that would shape the continent. In 1947, he was invited back to the Gold Coast to serve as the General Secretary of the United Gold Coast Convention, UGCC, the first major political party in the country. However, his radical approach and demands for immediate independence clashed with the more cautious UGCC leadership. By 1949, he broke away and formed the Convention People's Party, CPP, with the slogan, "Self-Government Now." He mobilized the masses, workers, farmers, youth, and the unemployed through his charismatic speeches, grassroots organizing, and the mastery of political messaging. His activism led to his arrest in 1950 after launching the Positive Action Campaign, an nonviolent resistance movement. Ironically, his imprisonment only increased his popularity. In 1951, while still in jail, he won a landslide victory in colonial elections and was released to become the leader of government business, effectively the prime minister. After years of negotiation and political struggle, Nkurumah led the Gold Coast to become the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence from colonial rule. On 6th March 1957, the Republic of Ghana was born. His famous words during the independence celebration echoed across Africa. The independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. This statement revealed his larger vision. Ghana was just the beginning. He wanted all African nations free and united. He believed that the only way Africa could thrive post-colonialism was through unity. He envisioned a United States of Africa with a common government, military and economic system. He co-founded the Organization of African Unity, or AU, in 1963, now the African Union, and hosted the All African People's Conference in Accra in 1958. He also provided material and moral support to other African liberation movements, including those in Kenya, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Algeria. He was also a leading figure on the global stage, aligning with leaders from Asia and Latin America in the non-alignment movement. nations that sought to remain independent of both the US and the Soviet blocs during the Cold War. While Nkurumah was held internationally, his domestic governance was controversial. He introduced ambitious development plans, including large-scale infrastructure projects like the Akasombo Dam for hydroelectric power, investments in education, building schools, universities, and encouraging scientific development, industrialization strategies to reduce reliance on exports like cocoa. However, these projects strained Ghana's economy. Critics accused him of centralizing power and stifling dissent. In 1964, he declared Ghana a one-party state, naming himself president for life. The government became increasingly authoritarian, with opposition silenced and media controlled. On 24 February 1966, while Nkurumah was on a state visit to Vietnam and China, his government was overthrown in a military coup backed in part by foreign interests concerned about his ties with socialist countries. He fled to Guinea, where President Ahmed Sekou II made him honorary co-president. Nkurumah continued writing and advocating for African unity until his death. Nkurumah died on 27 April 1972 in Romania, where he was receiving medical treatment for cancer. Upon his death on 27 April 1972, with Guinea now in possession of the body of Nkurumah, Sekou II was not convinced in releasing it to Ghana, although there had been assurances to him by Ignatius Kutu, Ghana's leader at that time, that he would be given a dignified burial befitting his status. All Sekou II wanted for his country's co-president was that Ghanaian authorities would meet his demands. After all, since Romania had sent the body to their country, they were in strong position to dictate terms. Kwame Nkrumah's body was later flown to Ghana, where it was laid instead of the State House in Accra. The thousands of Ghanaians paid their last respects. The body was then flown to his hometown, Groful, where he was buried in a vault. Nkrumah's legacy, coupled with the Pan-Africanism movement, shaped politics in Ghana and on the continent, making him a global recognized figure. Despite his flaws, Nkrumah is considered one of Africa's greatest sons, a visionary whose dream of a united, self-reliant and free Africa still resonates. Thank you for watching. Let's keep Africa's story alive, one legend at a time. Another story told, another legacy remembered. This is African Heritage Hub, honoring the spirit of Africa. See you soon.